Hey everyone, Matt here from Docs Running, and today we're going to do a full review of the Salomon Aero Glide 2. So this is Salomon's maximal daily training shoe. The first version was a great introduction to their line that made something that was really runnable with plenty of forefoot cushioning and heel cushioning. The newest version really takes that and refines the upper is the major thing, while keeping the midsole and the outsole fairly similar. So spec-wise, it's actually coming in fairly similar. Men's size 9/women's size 10.5 is coming in at 8.9 ounces for men's for that, and 254 grams. Stack height is 37 millimeters in the heel, 27 in the forefoot for still a 10 millimeter drop, just the same as the last version. The midsole is still made of full-length energy foam, which feels just a slight firm with still plenty of protection underfoot. It's just not a really mushy or soft ride. It's just a tiny bit firm, which feels actually really good if you want something that can pick up the pace a little bit, but it's really meant for daily and consistent miles. The one thing I got to say is the ride is a little bit stiff. Fortunately, there's a really good forefoot rocker here. At the heel, it does have a bevel, but it's just slightly medial and very centered. So the heel's a little bit clunky, to be honest, and it makes me want to land a little bit farther forward. It makes the shoe feel like a higher drop, like even higher than a 10 millimeter. So if you want a shoe with a higher drop but a good amount of cushion and kind of a wider base to it, this is actually going to be a really, really good option for you, because a lot of stuff tends to be more in that moderate to low drop now, which is not a bad thing. It just means that there are certain models you're going to want to find if they're higher drop. So this definitely feels higher drop. It is very much a neutral shoe, although there are some elements that should make it stable. This is the way it's designed, feels much more neutral. Although there's, again, a little bit wider forefoot, some mild sidewalls, but nothing that gets in your way. If that's something you're sensitive to, don't worry, you'll be totally fine. So upper is where things really change, and I think for the better. The last version, it was a synthetic mesh from what I understood. This is now a 3D mesh, and it has a lot more volume. The last version kind of sat low on the toes. It had still plenty of room, or normal room. This one, if you need more up room, if your foot tends to swell with longer efforts, this is going to accommodate you really well. So heel midfoot, fairly normal in width and size and volume, but the forefoot is where things tend to up a little bit. I had no trouble at all with security, so I haven't had to lock these down or lace lock the shoe at all. There's a moderately stiff heel counter back here, which I really didn't notice that much. It wasn't that big of a deal. The forefoot is where the volume really increases, and it gave me plenty of room without feeling super voluminous or like I was sliding around. Just gave me some wiggle room, which was really, really nice. So definitely a shoe if you're going to want to do longer miles and you want just a touch of firmness and a higher drop. This is going to be a really, really excellent shoe for you. Durability's been fairly good. I've got about 20 miles. I'm only seeing a tiny bit of abrasion here on the outsole, but there's plenty of it. So outside of that, it's a pretty solid shoe, pretty standard, not too much different from last version other than upper and a little more volume. If this is something that you're interested in, then maybe you should check it out.